Yeah.
Believe, consequence. This is a simple process that I learned from Mike Bundrant at the US NLP Center called INLP Center. It's called the ABCDE process. And as soon as I heard it was called that, I immediately liked it because I thought, good, this is going to be easy to remember and easy to use. He also gives his own example of how he used this process where he was stuck on writing a book but not writing a book, if you see what I mean. I can't do it, I'll spend months on it, it'll be a huge waste of time, and so on. However, he tells the story of how he did the ABCDE process on this. These letters stand for adversity, belief, consequences, dispute, and energize. I particularly like this process because it emphasizes the consequences of having a limiting belief. Often people say, oh, you have to get rid of all your limiting beliefs, or smash through your limiting beliefs, or phrases like that. I certainly see a lot of these things on the web. And what this one is saying, understand the consequences of the belief that you are holding. So I'm just going to read this out to you with his example. The first thing you do with your situation is you state the adversity or the problem, or in this case, A for adversity. His adversity was that he wanted to write a book, but he never quite managed to do it in 20 years. And although he had become discouraged, he also couldn't let go of the idea. Now, I think many of us have ideas like that. We don't know anything about them, but we're still holding on to them. And you'll hear his story. Then number 2, identify the limiting belief. The limiting belief in this case was, I can't do it, and it'll be a huge waste of time because I'll never finish such a big, overwhelming project. Okay. I want to write a book, but I haven't got round to it. I'll never finish such a long, overwhelming project. And what are the consequences of that belief? Well, because of this belief, I don't even try to write a book. I'm absolutely closed-minded about the whole thing. I've never thought of any creative ways that I could use to get it done. I'm doing nothing to make it fun and productive. I've never asked any other authors how they do it. I've not considered the trends lately in independent publishing. And I've made dozens of assumptions about publishers and marketing, and all of these assumptions lead me to reject the idea of writing a book. So, the adversity leads to the belief, which leads to the consequences. So the fourth thing to do is to dispute the belief. I came to the realization that I was picturing myself writing Moby Dick. I had a very old school idea in mind, slaving over my keyboard for months to produce a legendary masterpiece. Of course, what I forgot is that I already write a lot of articles, that I could write a short and sweet ebook, and that I could do it relatively quickly. So you dispute your belief. What happens then is this will energize you. And what happened to Mike is, with this small chunk project in mind, he got excited about getting going. And then all of the assumptions that went with his original belief just faded away. He finished his draft in 3 days, produced a book, which is now selling 100 copies a day on Amazon. And that was through using this ABCDE method to loosen the grip of the belief, because the consequences of holding on to a belief like this are truly limiting. They cut off your imagination, kill your creativity, and blind you to the real opportunities that you could be taking advantage of. You find yourself unnecessarily hanging on to what is a narrow view of the world. And once you've discovered all that, it's important to just take 1 or 2 steps in the direction of what it is that you want. So after freeing yourself like this, you'll find that other ideas will come to you, other creative ideas will come to you, especially if you have this kind of very stuck belief. So this has been about the consequences of believing something, understanding the consequences.